everyone, my name's Sarah and welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, I'm actually gonna just have a really chill sit down chit chat with you, just because I haven't uploaded for a week now. I missed my Friday and Monday upload. So first of all, I just want to start off by saying I'm really sorry for that. But I'm just going to explain a bit of why I did that and sort of what was going on during that time. And as you can see from the title, today's video is all about 5 things, 5 kind of bits of advice or tips when you're just feeling a bit overwhelmed and you just need to relax and just don't really know what to do. I've kind of written a list of 5 things which I find really helpful for myself when I'm feeling a bit stressed out and not really sure what to do during that time. So I hope you really enjoyed this video and don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Okay, so I first want to talk about why I took time off. I was in a place where I was just really exhausted. Like I found I had been working a lot, and usually that's fine, like, you know, working heaps, it's all good. But I'd also been socializing a lot. I went and visited my family on my days off, so I never really had a break. And then we were also, then me and my partner were also going out for dinner with friends. We had people over. There was just a lot going on. And I find, like, I've spoken about it before, but I am an introvert, and I think quite an extreme introvert. Like, I really value my alone time. I kind of don't feel like I'm recharged unless I've spent some time just by myself doing nothing or whatever I choose to, just in my own space. I don't know, I really feel like when I'm spending time with people, I just sort of absorb all of their issues or just like their kind of energy and what's going on with them, and I find it really hard to have my own thoughts and opinions about things. I'm not sure if any of you have experienced that before, but that's sort of what I go through when I'm spending time with a lot of people. And just working in retail, you're kind of constantly, for the time you're there, you're smiling, you're having to be very polite, just being around people. Like, I'm not really a big people person. Like, I can do it, I'm fine at work, I can, you know, get through my shift fine. You know, sometimes I actually really do like hanging around people. But maybe like once out of the month where I'm actually saying to my boyfriend, can we go spend time with someone, or like go, you know, I might go catch up with a friend or, you know, family or something like that. But usually I'm really just happy being by myself, being at home. And yeah, so I'm definitely quite an introvert in that sense. So I just felt like like I was saying, I've spent like a lot of time with people recently. I found I was getting really overwhelmed with everything. I was losing my motivation for doing YouTube, for taking photos, my passion and my creativity a little bit. And I also found that I was getting extremely tired and irritable. So that was sort of what was going on. And so I decided just to take a couple of days off and just not do anything that I didn't have to do, like, crucially. Like, obviously I was going to work, I went to all my shifts fine, you know, I was cooking, I was cleaning, I was, you know, doing the day-to-day things that everyone sort of has to do to get through the day. So I was just doing everything I had to, but then beyond that, I was just sort of being very still and not making plans and making to-do lists and kind of being driven in a sense. And I just wanted to give you 5 kind of bits of information about that, about how to do that and what really helps me when I'm feeling overwhelmed, and some ways to just really wind down and just regroup with yourself. And you might find that really helpful if you're an introvert like me, but you also struggle to give yourself the permission to take time off when you need it, and you constantly feel like you should be working towards something and always on the go and things like that. I feel like the most important thing to say just with all of this is it is okay to give yourself the permission to do nothing. Give yourself permission to not always be on the top of your game and just firing constantly and just doing everything. So the first thing I do when I'm feeling really overwhelmed is, like I said, I take time off. So I took about 5 days off, I think. So the first thing I think it's important with taking time off is understanding that it won't set you back, and actually by taking the time off, you might actually find that when you do come back, which is true a lot of the time for me, that your work and your motivation is so much better than it had been. So you're kind of setting yourself up for better success in the future by taking little breaks when you need to, rather than kind of pushing through it and then sometimes you get like a big knockdown. So the second thing is to switch off from social media. I feel like a lot of people on social media, they're showing their highlights, they're showing what they're getting done in a day. Well, at least a lot of people I follow, I really like going on there and getting motivation, seeing people work out and seeing people, you know, check things off their daily to-do list. Like, I find that really motivating. But during these times, I feel like I just feel really guilty if I'm not being productive and I go on social media and I start comparing myself to all of these people doing things like that. So during these times, I sort of just like to spend a lot less time on social media, do other things other than being on my phone. The third point I have written down is to sit still and breathe. So I think it's really important to understand what has caused you to feel overwhelmed and kind of understand the problem that you were experiencing, so that you can make changes in your life to minimize the chance of it happening again. So what I mean by that is, I learned that if I'm working a lot and then I have, you know, 2 or 3 days off, I shouldn't be running around seeing people and going heaps of places, because I end up feeling like when I come back and I go back to work, I haven't done anything around the house, I haven't done anything that I wanted to be doing. And so I feel like understanding the reason why you feel overwhelmed is a really important step to preventing it in the future. And I also feel like it's really important just to be able to sit still and just take a couple of deep breaths and just be with your own thoughts. Especially being an introvert, I really just crave that alone time, and so I really do just enjoy just being still and just I don't meditate, but I just am just still. Like, I might just lay on my bed in the morning and take a couple of deep breaths and just sort of process things on my own time and not feel pressure from myself to jump out of bed and get started with the day before I'm ready. So the fourth point is getting plenty of sleep and rest. So I feel like a lot of times becoming overwhelmed kind of coincides with not being well rested. So I find a lot of the times if I haven't been sleeping well, it's easier to become overwhelmed. So make sure during this time off, don't stay up late watching Netflix because you aren't doing anything, or don't alter your sleeping routine. Try to actually go to bed earlier and do things that calm you before bed, like have a cup of tea or light a candle or something like that, to just really get you in a good state of mind, so that when you wake up the next day you're fully rested and you can better handle it. And I found that's what I did, and after 5 days of just taking a lot of time for myself, I've woken up today and I'm just really motivated, I'm really well rested, and I just feel really on top of everything. So I feel like you can handle everything a lot better if you aren't tired. So the fifth point I have is do things that make you happy and fill you with joy. I feel like when I'm really overwhelmed, I can sometimes feel a bit down. And so I think it's important that during this time, when you're not being super busy and you're just taking time for yourself, is to do things that make you happy and sort of spark joy within yourself. And I feel like it's just a really nice way to treat yourself and just do little things throughout the day that maybe you wouldn't usually do if you were super busy and were doing other things. So whether that be having your cup of coffee a little bit slower in the morning instead of drinking it really fast because you have got to go somewhere, or, you know, for me it's playing tennis. I love playing tennis, and that's something that I really enjoy doing, and that's something for me. So depending on whatever your thing is, just try and incorporate that into what you do when you have time off. You know, reading a book's a really easy one. It can kind of be a good escape, and do it while you're resting as well. Like, you don't have to, it doesn't take a lot of energy to just sit there and read. So that's my 5 bits of advice that I have compiled just when I'm feeling overwhelmed, I feel like by doing these things it really does help me to just de-stress and kind of get back on track. So I hope you found this video helpful in some way. Maybe you could try some of these things that I've talked about the next time you're feeling overwhelmed, to kind of stop you getting in a prolonged state of anxiety. So I hope you really enjoyed this video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.